Hi guys, so new lesson na naman tayo. And just a quick recap from our previous topic. Okay, so last time, we have learned about different worldviews, the introduction of into different worldviews. Okay, so in chapter 9, it doesn't talk about Christian, okay? It doesn't talk about the Christian religion in itself, but about the Christian worldview, a Christian beliefs, and the other worldviews that a person possesses or holds in them as their belief, okay? Christianity for us is not just a set of rules or practices that we are to adhere. Okay, so clear ba yun? Okay, so as Christians, hindi lang tayo nabubuhay because of some rules or guidelines or practices ng traditions na ginagawa natin na we have already discussed the previous time that we have discussed. Okay, so a Christian worldview, this is a world and this is a life. This is a world because in here you have a different kind of life when you have this Christian worldview. Okay, one that we can personally adhere for our lives and even we can academically agree with, okay? And of course, the Bible becomes very essential, very fundamental for us in having a Christian worldview. Kasi yun yung nagiging foundation natin, okay? So, it allows us or an individual who wanted to have a Christian worldview, okay, na mas maging solid, cohesive, and defensible ang kanyang worldview if he or she would be taking the Christian worldview. Okay? So, hayan siya. And the Christian faith, therefore, is very personal. It starts with a personal relationship from the very person of Jesus Christ. Okay? So, Christianity, okay, Christian, ano yung pinakaunang word natin doon? Christ. Okay? So, it starts with Jesus Christ. And, ayun, it is a life lived in a relationship with God, okay, our one true God, in the wholeness of our being. So, kasama doon, intellectually, emotionally, and kasama na rin yung will natin. So, ayun siya for most of you, worldviews. Worldview is not a new idea at all, and some of you, it's a very new idea to them, and now you are thinking what kind of worldview you are really practicing now, what kind of belief. So I hope na it would help you really form your own worldview. Okay, so at this point for this new chapter that we would be introducing principles that would help you to really form your own worldview. Okay, so this is not for me as your teacher to insinuate or to really convince you to believe what I believe in, but I want us all to check our own worldviews or our own beliefs through this lesson. Okay, and then we will also examine in this class, okay, at this lesson now, we will also examine the worldviews, how we can integrate, or you as an individual, how you can integrate your faith and your learning all together. Okay, so I want to quote the late Ravi Zacharias here, a very, very famous apologist, that he says every worldview has to bring together reason and faith. Reason and faith coming along together. Okay, so yun yung sinasabi ni Ravi. And with this lesson, ito yung pag-uusapan natin. Okay, how faith, okay, and reasoning or faith and learning can come along together. Or is it possible? Kailangan ba? Ma'am, pag may faith ako, kailangan ko pa bang mag-isip? Okay, do I need to have a sound reasoning? Of course, you really need that. Okay, so the very importance of understanding worldview is not just for ourselves, but it will also help us understand other people. Kapag pinag-aralan kasi natin itong mga different class or different types of worldview, we will be able to determine kung ano yung pinapaniwalaan ng isang tao. And most of all, there are times that we in ourselves, we don't know what we really believe in. Okay, so I hope this class will just help us or help you really have your own set of your worldview or beliefs. Okay, and another thing is that worldviews or this set of beliefs is one of the major factors, okay, behind cultural and personal behaviors. Okay, so it helps us seize a person or the reason behind why does a person acts and thinks or behaves that way or this way, 'di ba? So yun yung isa rin sa mga dahilan. What kind of value or what kind of belief that does this person upholds? Bakit ganyan yung ugali niya? Okay, bakit ganyan? Ano yung paniniwala niya, bakit ganyan yung ikinikilos niya or bakit ganyan siya mag-isip or bakit ganyan yung kanyang paniniwala, okay, or yung conviction niya with different things, bakit kaya ganyan, ano kaya yung dahilan, okay. One of the determining factors of those things is the worldview or the set of beliefs that a person upholds, okay. So in this sense, a worldview also helps us organize our lives into a more meaningful story. Okay, so alam niyo yan na mas may sense yung buhay natin if we know what we are really living. Okay, because a worldview gives us the general picture or the whole picture of the total reality, okay, to which we can relate these fragmentary experiences, okay, and knowledge that we possess. Okay, pag yan, nagsama-sama, okay, these small fragments, okay, of our experiences and knowledge all together coming along, okay, that's part of our worldview, that's part of our beliefs, okay, that is being formed, okay. So, ganun din na in our daily lives, ayun, it helps us put our daily experiences into a clearer perspective. Okay, so just like an eyeglasses, okay, very wonderful and very used example sa bagay na to when we are talking about worldviews is a pair of glasses. Diba, kunyari sa shades, okay, during summertime, a lot of people wear different colors. So yung iba, they would be wearing something like pink for ladies, for guys, blue, ayan, or just you go for a classic blue, or classic black, I'm sorry, or brown. So, yung mga different types of shades or shades of shades, okay? So, mga, yon. So, different types. So, let's just take that as like a worldview. So, iba't ibang tao, iba't ibang preferences, di ba? So, ako, I prefer to have the classic black. Okay, so how about you guys? Anong gusto ninyong shades when it's so hot outside or kung may parade, 'di ba? May kiki-parade ka, anong shade ang pipiliin mong isusuot or will you wear one? 'Di ba? That's the question. Okay, or since we're talking about glasses, okay, so may sino ka-glasses sa inyo? All right, so we have here a reading glass, okay, correctional glasses. Okay, so anong gamit nito para mas okay, maging mabuti yung eyesight natin, maka-help sa atin to read clearer, to protect our eyes. And of course, may iba't ibang grado nito. So, ganun din, iba't ibang grado, ginagamit ng iba't ibang tao, ganun din sa worldview natin or sa beliefs natin, o paniniwala na yung isang tao na meron sa kanya. Ayan siya. So, iba yung paniniwala ng isang tao na to, kaya ibang grado yung ginagamit niya. Iba yung applicable sa mata niya. Alright, so same is true with the worldviews that we possess in our lives. So when we have these worldviews clearer, ayan, and we will be able to determine other people's worldviews, mas nakakatulong sa atin yun to get to know a person better. And of course, ayan din, it helps us within ourselves. Alright, so ngayon pag-uusapan natin, okay, different beliefs and how we can examine a specific worldview. Okay, so bear with me guys kasi madami-dami to. Alright, so ayan siya. So we have different beliefs, okay? We have reality, okay, with our beliefs. Ayan, i-check natin yung reality na belief na to. And then the worldview that is being examined. I have here, we can say X-ray questions. Okay, we have questions here kung kailan natin siya malalaman. Okay, just like for example, the ontology or metaphysics. Okay, metaphysics, it talks about the physical world. Okay, the reality of this worldview. Okay, how will we examine the reality of this worldview? Okay, and number one question is there a God? Okay, when we're talking about worldviews, number one question is there a God? Or many gods? Or perhaps a different spiritual beings of varying degrees or power? So yun yung unang question natin. And then, you could just, a person who is really examining a worldview could just assume perhaps there is no God and all reality is just a matter. Okay, so because we're talking about reality. So ang reality niya, kung ano lang yung nakikita niya in the physical world. So kaya sinabi niya, all reality is just a matter. Okay, all reality could just be atoms. Okay, atoms. That's small particles. Hindi natin nakikita yon, right? And then, in a temporary arrangement called the universe of matter is an illusion, and reality is the oneness of an impersonal, universal soul. A worldview may also tell us there is a reality to existence beyond death. Okay, so kung i-check natin yung reality ng worldview na to, you can either ask, is there a God or is there no God at all? Or, beyond death, okay? Another thing here, talks about our existence because this is a reality. Okay, ang tanong natin dito, reality is the oneness of an impersonal universal soul. A worldview may also tell us, is there a reality, okay, to existence beyond death? That's one of the questions you can ask. Okay, so as we are trying to search on or dig deeper into this worldview that we would wanted to have or just trying to examine. Okay, so yan yung tanong natin. Tatanungin natin yan. Is there a reality to existence beyond death? Yung pinapaniwalaan niyo ba, naniniwala sa ganong bagay? Okay, another belief is something that talks about the knowledge. Okay, knowledge, number 2, the epistemology. Okay, saan yung pinanggalingan nito? Okay, how do we know anything in a varying degree of certainty? How certain is this? Okay, so does my knowledge depend upon my sensory experiences alone? So, doon nga lang ba naka-depende yung knowledge niya, okay, or yung knowledge mo about this worldview or this worldview? Is it just dependent about the knowledge or the personal experiences that you are experiencing? For example, ano yung nakikita ko, na hahawakan ko, okay? Ano yung naaamoy ko or nalalasahan ko, 'di ba? So, yung mga klaseng tanong na ganoon. Okay, does knowledge come from my inner experiences? Okay, that's another question to be answered. Okay, when you are trying to really search on with a certain worldview. Okay, and then reflections and reasoning. When we're talking about knowledge, okay, so doubt, kasama ba ang inner experiences? The reflections and reasonings? Am I still being objective? Okay. Is this a part of this worldview? Okay, when we talk about knowledge. Okay, saan nanggagaling yung knowledge natin? Or saan nanggagaling yung knowledge ng worldview na ito? So, yun yung magiging katanungan natin. Is knowledge inborn or innate? Okay, that's another question. Or something revealed from heaven to religious groups. Okay, that kind of knowledge. Okay, if you are trying to search a certain worldview, if you are trying to examine this worldview, saan galing? Okay, itong knowledge na to. Okay, pinanganak na ba ako na may knowledge or dahil parte ako ng grupo na to or it is because of my religious background. So yun yung magiging katanungan natin, okay? So is truth universal? Okay, so tatanungin din natin, is truth universal? Okay, so does this truth also applies to another country? Okay, so parang ganon. Okay, if it's applicable to Philippines, is it as well applicable to America? Okay, so that's another question. Once and for all time, okay, for me and for anyone else. Does it apply to me? Sa akin nga lang ba? as you examine a worldview, or does it apply to anyone else, to anybody else? Okay, number 3, human nature or the anthropology. Okay, when you say anthropology or being, okay, as a human being, as a human creature, ayan, what is human being? Okay, if we're going to examine a certain worldview, does it answer what is a human being? Okay, does it say we are just animals or are we higher beings? Are we made in the image of God or evolved from ape? Okay, or are we fallen beings with sin natures, or are we ascending sociobiological gene carriers? Yun nga lang ba tayo? Okay, yung sinasabi when we are examining a worldview, or spreading our reproductive success everywhere. Okay, so and siya, we need to ask these questions as we examine a certain worldview about the human nature. Okay, do we have a spirit or soul that survives the death of a body? Okay, this worldview should answer this. Okay, or a certain worldview, if we are examining them, should answer. Okay, human problems. Ano nga ba yung mga problema ng tao? Okay, why are human beings so beset with problems? Okay, sino sa inyo walang problema, guys? Okay, is there anyone here na hindi pa nakaranas ng any kinds of problems? Okay, I bet every one of us have experienced that, right? Okay, hindi kayo nag-iisa. Okay, you are not alone, guys. Nandito rin ako. Okay, so, and when certain individuals beset with problems unable to live up their own standards, okay, diba? There's a self-frustration. Okay, the human problems. Thus, this worldview that is being examined answers this. Okay, there is much good in the world of human beings, but there is also much evil. Okay, the question about evil and suffering. Okay, sa nature ng tao, it is always being asked. It is always one of the resounding problems, okay, of a human being that they are facing. Okay, is the evil due to defective genetics? Okay, saan ba nanggaling ang kasamaan or this evilness? Bad environments, okay, an inherent sin nature, or all of the three? Okay, so why do I have such a difficult time controlling myself? Okay, why am I not completely happy even though I have many things? So, yan yung mga problema, okay, na human nature. That if you try to examine certain worldview, that's this worldview, if you examine, answers, okay, this very human nature that a single human person is struggling with. Okay, solutions to human problem, another belief. Okay, so when it comes to solutions or problems as human, okay, ito, one of our questions din na pwede nating itanong ulit. Is the solution to human problems better genetics, better learning, more religion, or a combination of this? Kailangan ba pagsamasamahin? Are acts of violence just normal products of natural development that cannot be avoided? Okay, that's that worldview being examined answers that. Okay. So, titignan natin, i-search through natin itong tawag dito, worldview na i-check natin. Another thing is the human value. Okay, are human beings more valuable than animals? Okay, how much does a human worth for? Diba? Should individual human life be protected no matter what its form or age? Okay, anong itsura? Or gaano ka man katanda or kabata? Diba? In some societies, old age are not being cared for. Sobrang nababalewala sila kasi they are called liabilities. Diba? Or pag there are certain communities, ayan, or in the society, kapag pangit ka, sorry for the term, pag mababa na yung face value in the world's standards, it's like you're an outcast. It's like you're not worthy of anything at all. Diba? So, does this worldview values this? Okay, if we are examining a certain worldview, or is there only value in humanity as a whole, okay, as a race? Okay, is there a value for this humanity that is existing right now? Is there a purpose for my individual life? Okay, I think at your age right now, you might be asking, what is my life's purpose? Diba? I think any age at a certain point of their lives have already asked that question. Hindi lang mga bata, but even adult like me. Okay, there was a time I asked, ano nga ba talaga purpose ng buhay ko, Lord? Okay, what am I living for? Okay, so we always ask that. And when we are examining a certain worldview, nasasagot niya ba yon? Nasasagot ba ng worldview na to yung katanungan na yon? Okay, another one. From value, we will go to purpose. Okay, human purpose. Okay, is the purpose of human life reproductive success? Yun lang nga lang ba? Hanggang multiplication nga lang ba tayo? Okay, so from first generation to second generation. Okay, yun nga lang ba ang purpose ng buhay mo? Okay, is the purpose of human lives ito just for reproductive success? Okay, yun nga lang ba magkaroon lang ng anak? Okay, yun lang ba yung purpose? Okay, survival of the fittest or character development? Okay, in human purpose, ano ang sinasabi ng worldview na to? Okay, is it just about survival or it talks about as well the character development of a certain individual? Or is there no purpose in a chance world? Okay, a chance world. Is my purpose just part of a larger human group purpose? Okay, is it like a group activity? Okay, yun nga ba yung purpose ng buhay ko? Just to be with all of these people? Or is there a purpose for my individual life? Another thing. Okay, same question kayo na. Is there a purpose for my individual life? So what does this worldview says about that? Okay, ethics. Okay, another belief. Okay, in ethics naman, what should be our guide to right and wrong? Okay, ano yung sinasuggest nitong ina-examine natin na worldview when we are examining? Okay, ano yung guide natin sa right or wrong or tama o mali that is being done by an individual, okay, with their behaviors. And in the collective behavior of the masses. When you say collective behavior, how does this masses, how does this group of people behaves? Okay, does God reveal commandments and guides for life? Okay, kaya ba niyang sagutin yun? Do we follow our impulses and drives which have guaranteed our biological or survival to this point? Is the whole discussion of moral truth a meaningless act since no ultimate moral truth exists? That's really a big question for this worldview. Masasagot niya ba to? Okay, so this is the question that we should be asking. Okay, if we are trying to examine a certain worldview or belief. Okay, talking about suffering naman. Okay, what is the meaning of suffering in our individual lives? Okay, does this pain, this grief, this sorrow you're going through make sense? Diba? May purpose ba? Okay, is there some larger purpose to human life in the midst of pain? Should pain be avoided at all costs? Tingin ninyo? Or sa tingin ng worldview na to, na chine-check natin, is suffering just an illusion? Okay, is the reality of suffering the evidence that there cannot be an all-good, all-powerful God up there watching over us? Is there? Is suffering the evidence for an historic original sin? Or is it evidence that self is the problem and the end of self is the solution? Okay, if you see that. So those were the questions, okay, that we could ask or on examining a certain worldview if we wanted to really form a worldview. Okay, last two, human meaning of life. Okay, the question that we could use here is human history just the recounting of the same human behaviors repeated endlessly, age after age, in a cynical fashion where nothing means anything and history is going nowhere? Like it's saying the meaning of life. Yan nga lang ba Okay, this life that we are living, ang sinasabi ng question na to, saan ito papunta? Is it just an unending cycle that goes around and around, that is like history repeats itself? Ganun ba yung human behavior? Yung sinasabi nito. Okay, age after age in a cynical fashion. Ulit lang siya. Okay, or is history linear? Okay, and human lives connected as in casual and moral relationships? Is there a connection in that? Okay, is there a larger story out there somewhere with which the histories of individuals and nations fit? Okay, meron nga ba? Okay, the meaning of life, the search for the meaning of life. Does this worldview helps us see, okay, the meaning of life? So these are some of the questions. And then the last one is about human desire. Is our recognition of and longing for what is true, beautiful, okay, and perfect just an accident? Hmm. Okay, guys, kayo ba? Do you long for truth? Do you long for something more better, more grandeur than this life that you have right now? Okay, di ba? Para saan ang pangarap ninyo? Yung mga goal ninyo sa buhay ninyo? Di ba? These desires that your heart has. Okay, is our longing for the ideal a hint of a deeper source and purpose for human life? Okay, where does it lead us if we have these inner desires? Diba? Sometimes we are just so shy to tell them, or too timid, or we just don't want to share them. Okay, but I am fully convinced that each one of you right now have this kind of longing or have this desire for something more better, for something good, and for something beautiful. Okay, tell me if I'm wrong. Okay, but I can feel that every human being has that kind of desire. Okay, are all of our artistic productions, okay, so all of this creative stuff, okay, all of these skills, okay, just surface image of the natural desires for food, sex, and safety? Okay, the human desire. Tama? So those were the things that a person desires for or longs for. Diba? So all these questions, okay, you can have that, you can see that. Okay, just check out the PowerPoint that I have given you, and even in the module, ayan, makikita nyo doon these questions. Okay, and I want you to really consider, okay, answering, okay, looking for answer to these questions through the belief that you are practicing now. Okay, some of you says uh, I am on the category of a panentheist. I am a monotheist. Okay, why and how? Okay, so I think some of the questions here can be answered through those, okay, worldviews that you are currently have in you. Okay, so I want you to check on that, to really check on this set of beliefs that you are having now. Diba? Okay.